We have this post from X, a CNN video where Rep. Seth Moulton blames the right. This is so inappropriate that we saw the other day the firing of Matthew Dowd when Charlie Kirk had been shot, and he said, well, that you say awful things happen. They fired him. Listen to this.
Let's be serious about where this violence is coming from. Of extremist violent attacks in America, extremist violent murders, 76% are from right-wing extremists, 4% are from left-wing extremists. I condemn that 4%, but we also need to be honest about, as a nation, about where this violence is coming from. And oh, by the way, it's probably an appropriate time to talk about guns, too. You hear a lot of conservatives saying, hey, the only thing we need to do here is get more guns on the street. That's not going to solve this problem. That's going to make it worse.
These people are evil. They're lying. This is not correct. This is fake news. And it's the dirty game they always play. They say to us, did you know the majority of mass shooters are white cisgender males? And then what do? Well, it's according to insert liberal NGO that determined that, and we claim it to be true. The left has a series of organizations, and I'm not going to name them. There's one that recently called Charlie Kirk a white supremacist and a problem. They claim to be experts, and they are cited as experts, so they can give these fake stats. When they tell you that mass shooters are all cisgender white males, you know what they do? They say, well, we don't count inner city violence. That's not what we mean. What they're really saying is we've excluded data intentionally so that we can lie to you for political power and blame white people and conservatives for this violence. Now, as for the statement made by Seth Moulton, what is the assessment he's making and where does it come from? Did you know? Let me pull this up for you. This is I think this is what's the organization? I think it's ADL. Let me show you. Let me show you how they lie to you by pulling up the Anti-Defamation League's heat map. Hate, extremism, anti-Semitism, and terrorism. And this is just one way they generate these fake numbers to blame the right for all the violence. So you see what they do? They say anti-Semitic incidents, anti-LGBTQ+, white supremacist events, extremist murders, terrorist plots and attacks, extremist/police shootouts. When you click ideology, take a look at what it says. Right-wing, white supremacist. Islamist, right-wing, anti-government. Left-wing, right-wing, other. So white supremacist, anti-government, which you know includes leftists, and other. What does that mean? What they have done is they have basically said Islamist, particular ideology, white supremacist, particular ideology, anti-government, does not know left or right, but my favorite is other. They've said, we've decided that anything that we don't like will be called right-wing, and then this guy goes on TV the day after the assassination of a political activist and personality who only sought to speak with people and challenge ideas and have his own ideas challenged. They cite numbers that come from these fake organizations so they can blame the right for all the violence. Are there people on the right who are violent? Indeed. It's bad. Should be condemned. Are there people on the left that are violent? Indeed, it's bad. It should be condemned. But the reality is this. Anti-government is not right-wing. That's a lie. But it allows them to put out numbers where they can say, look at all the right-wing violence. So when you get a leftist who says the government is bad, is at a left-wing protest, shoots or does whatever, the ADL can call it right-wing. When you, and here's the funniest thing, they actually called a black supremacist left-wing. And now I'm just going like, hold, guys, perhaps they should break this down into further categories and just say perhaps racial identitarian or separate all of this. But look what they do. You can see it right there. Right wing. So let me put it like this. If you are a neo-Nazi, white supremacist, and the only thing that matters to you is that you hate other minorities, or you hate all the minorities, the ADL says that person and Dave Smith and Nick Fuentes and Charlie Kirk are the same political ideology, despite the fact none of them get along. Well, they get along, to be fair, but they argue with each other and disagree. These ideologies are not the same. They would argue that a Klan hood-wearing guy who believes in government health care. You could take a Democrat, a racist old school Democrat who wants government subsidized health care, protectionism, and a percentage of worker controlled production, but he hates black people. They'll call him right wing. You can take a guy who is pro-life, but in every other means lefty, and they'll call him right wing. And then they have the nerve to go on TV and say it's all right-wing extremists. They're faking the data. They're covering it up. But if you actually track the real news like I do, what will you find? When was the last time the right rioted? We got the boys here in the room, guys. Do you have any idea when the last time the right had a riot?
The Brooks Brothers riot was pretty right-wing coded. Beyond that,
In the 2000s?
yeah, beyond that, we had to go back probably
J6?
100 years. I mean, J6, yeah.
J6 was bad.
There was a lot of weird actors involved in J6. It wasn't a purely like just mainstream right-wing riot endorsed
I'll give
by
it to him.
mainstream conditions.
I'll give it to him.
Well, grant that. Go back before that. You'd probably have to dig deep. You really would.
I don't know if you can find traditionalist conservatives, Christians going out and being violent.
I also just wanted to make a quick I don't know if it's correction or just statement. Clarification would be the right word. Brent Scher, the editor-in-chief of the Daily Wire, he put a statement out saying Ben did not have any college stops planned. He had 2 book signings that he canceled out of respect for Charlie Kirk, not security concerns. Ben still plans to attend college campuses this year. The Daily Wire will not be deterred.
Okay, that's good. So let me just go back to that point that I was making with the Heat and conservatives. What their intention is, when people like Seth Moulton put out this data, is to trick people that, me, for instance, South Side of Chicago, urban, mixed race, second generation, skateboarding, moderate. They say he's right wing. And then they want you, as a liberal who doesn't watch my show, to say, but he's right wing. That means when a white supremacist psychopath kills people, they say he and Tim Pool are the same. Now, if we actually broke down the ideologies, what would we find? I am not going to claim the Krasensteins are Antifa. I certainly disagree with their opinions. I certainly think that they can embolden some of these lunatics very often. But I draw a distinction with liberals and leftists all the time. The left is pro-gun, liberals are not. So when leftists are violent, I don't blame the Krasensteins over their tax policy or their disdain for Donald Trump. I'll criticize them for statements they make. Fair point. When Kamala Harris solicits funding, donations for violent leftist rioters, that's where we see the overlap. But the left has various ideologies. There's anarcho-leftists. They can be violent. There's tanky leftists, very violent. Antifa, violent. And then there are pussy hat wearing little old ladies marching down the street, which may say disgusting things, but I think it's certainly different. The left just says the right is all evil. And they go on TV. You see them on CNN in one of the most inappropriate times, blaming the right and saying have an honest conversation about it. Okay, take a look at the Antifa violence. Take a look at the ICE riots. Take a look at all political action in the streets. You never see the right protest. We've had various protests over the past several weeks pertaining to ICE. All the violence is the left. All of it. At the start of Trump's first term, Breitbart was tracking every violent incident against Trump supporters, and there was like 800 in the span of a year. People getting attacked, drinks thrown at them. Charlie Kirk debated people. Steven Crowder has done this too. Crowder earlier today was showing videos from when he was doing Change My Mind and people stole from him or threatened him. Mm-hmm. And you don't get the inverse. So let me make this clear. The moderate conservative right, the disaffected liberals who have joined them in their support for Trump, are a political entity that has never engaged in overt direct violence targeting left personalities or individuals.
Yeah.
Doesn't happen.
Yep.
You want to point out extremist right-wing groups? Guess what? When a man showed up to a Patriot Prayer rally in Portland screaming racial slurs, they threw him out. They kicked him out. Mm-hmm. At leftist protests, when I was there at Trump's inauguration, and all of the ones that I've covered over the past 15 years, when violent leftists show up, you are instructed by the liberal organizers to, quote, respect the diversity of tactics. Outright telling you, don't snitch on the violent, don't get in their way, let them do what they do. The right never tolerates that. If you go to any of these right-wing events and you say a naughty word, they'll throw you out in 2 seconds. Mm-hmm. In fact, let's be real. A sex worker showed up to I think it was a Turning Point event.
It was a TPUSA, yeah.
You can't even have a bad job. They'll throw you out.
Yeah.
What the media and what Seth Moulton, what these Democrats try to do is lie to people who don't pay attention. So I'll give you another example. When CNN, let's pull this one up. When the Wall Street Journal confirmed that the shooter had transgender and anti-fascist ideology scrawled on their weapon, CNN called it cultural issues and didn't inform their audience. So they are simultaneously omitting information and putting on the air Seth Moulton to tell you it was the right wing. It's their fault. They're the ones engaged in this violence. MSNBC, when Charlie got shot, said maybe it was someone firing a gun in celebration. You can see it plain as day. CNN omitting this information is because they don't want it in their archives. They don't want it on the record that the leftists are violent and dangerous and the biggest threat to our security right now. Don't get me wrong. Violent far-right groups are dangerous and a threat, but am I looking over my shoulder at any point because there's some violent white supremacists lurking around? No. And you know what? When I was a kid, white supremacists attacked my family home and threw a brick through our window because my family is mixed race, Asian, white. And to this day, despite that, I don't look over my shoulder concerned a white person is going to attack me because of my race or my family history or anything like that. The left response, well, you passed him. I'm sure there's an excuse for you. But you know what I do fear? Because I have been attacked by the left, that violent psychopathic leftists will kill me and my family and my friends or hurt us. And that's the reality. They tell you they want to do it. They're all over social media right now expressing their desire. When a child was at the Lincoln Memorial minding his own business and a Native American man got in his face banging a drum, they posted wood chipper pictures with blood splattering out of them. They said they wanted to punch that kid in the face. They said, hey, punch a Nazi. Nazis are bad, right? And when normies went, yeah, they said, okay, now we're going to point out the Nazis for you. And they started calling literally every conservative and anyone who challenged the establishment a Nazi. So I'm sick of this. I say enough already with these Democrats lying. Mm-hmm. Whatever effort Trump's can and do under law, legally, to secure and shut down this expansion of violence, I think we need to use every civil legal tool, every criminal legal tool, and enough is enough.
Yeah, I mean, well, this reduces down, like you're saying, this reduces down to the fact that political violence is left-wing coded and rebellion is right-wing coded. I mean, you look at political violence to the left, killing people left and right, rioting, et cetera, et cetera. How does the right enact their will? Through rebellion. I mean, look at Charlie Kirk. This is someone who occupied and reinvented the mainstream. He wasn't this crazy radical person, calling for violence. No, he's slow, meticulous, prudent, careful, but calculated. And that's just how the right operates. It's through rebellion. It's through a soft rebellion, and a overhaul of the mainstream. And then, like I said earlier, left-wing political violence. It's one-to-one. I mean, you see it over and over and over again. Project Underground, et cetera, et cetera.
Weather Underground?
Or Weather Underground. Yeah.
I'll just say that I want retribution, and I want it to be effective, reasoned, legal, but to the greatest extent possible. And I hope, when I look at Donald Trump giving his statements last night, it looked like he was holding back his emotion, as he should as a leader. The images today, following his statement, Trump and Melania look very sad. We all are. I hope, I imagine Donald Trump wants to see retribution for his friend. Charlie Kirk was instrumental in the movement today to protect, restore, to reignite the spirit of America. Trump knows it. We all know it. And so I hope we get a reasoned retribution. We don't want to be irrational. We don't fly off the handle. No, we're going to be like stern fathers who say, enough is enough. It's time to get this house in order. But I'll wrap it up there, guys. I appreciate you all hanging out. You can follow me, of course, on X and Instagram at Timcast. Subscribe to this channel. Tate's been hanging out. Where can they find you?
Yeah, at Real Tate Brown on X and Instagram.
And Serge, thanks for helping man the camera on this special morning live. Everybody else, we're back at 8 p.m. for Timcast IRL with more updates, and we'll see you all then.